we love you guys that are listening in live. Also on the phone lines, I'm virtually waving to those that are listening in on the phone lines. We appreciate you as well. And this segment is brought to you by the new up and coming Digital Product and Course Academy, which is open for enrollment, and our first session launches on Monday. So jump over to myacademy.biz/product and enroll. So, listen, you know the goal of my show is around motivating, exciting, and influencing. And I have somebody with us in the virtual studio that's just going to get your money life and tax life all together. Listen, it's not too late. It's not too late. Whenever you are listening to this, it is not too late. Listen, she's laughing already in the studio. It's not too late. We're going to help you get your life together. Shan-Nel D. Simmons is back with us, MBA, a tax professional. She has over 18 years of accounting and tax experience with multiple industries, including as a former IRS revenue agent for the self-employed and small business division. She worked for the IRS in the small business division. Listen, we bring you experts here on the show, and she's dedicated to helping taxpayers and businesses stress less about their tax mess. And I'm telling you what, by having multiple degrees in accounting and being federally licensed as an enrolled agent, she proactively prevents tax problems while finding ways for her clients to legally pay the lowest taxes possible. Coming up to the mic right now, Shan-Nel D. Simmons. Welcome back.
Hey, how are you, Charvette? How is everyone?
Well.
I'm excited to be back. I really am.
Listen, you have a lot of amazing things and so much information, so I'm so glad we were able to schedule you and have you appear. And so what I didn't mention is that you also are in a new book collaboration. So can you tell us about that?
Yes. So I actually help co-author a book with 30 other authors called Speak Up, and it's the ultimate guide to dominate in the speaking industry. And we were blessed to have Les Brown also help in this collaboration as well. And I did what I always do, is I basically shared my knowledge with the speakers. The book is divided in ways of how to motivate you, how to monetize your speaking gift, of course, finding your message, how to sell from the podium. But then we also talk about how to manage your speaking career and your speaking business. So that way, you don't go out there and make all those dollars and then, you forget those basic things like making sure you file your taxes. When you sell a book in person, you have to collect sales tax. A lot of people don't they forget that, because one of the things people forget when it comes to sales tax is this whole name, sale and use tax. So, when you buy it, you're not paying any taxes because you are reselling it. You're buying it at a wholesale price. But the person that's purchasing it from you is going, you're selling it to them. They're going to keep it. They are supposed to pay you sales tax, and then you're supposed to report it and pay it back to the local government. A lot of people don't do it, and it could cause a problem. So, I talk about that a little bit. I also talk about... Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say we have tons of authors that listen in, so that is really good information. And I'm a visionary author. Our books are going to be coming out in September. So yes, this is good information to know. Let's keep it. And what else do you talk about in the book?
And I talk about just going out, making sure, you keep those receipts, you account for all of your expenses. A lot of times with speaking, a lot of people remember the hotel, but some of the expenses some people forget is if you are like traveling and you happen to be using Uber or Lyft while you're away, those are deductible as travel expenses. A lot of people forget that because, you're traveling on business for your speaking engagement. And you can't say you don't have the information, because even if you don't get a receipt, it shows up on your phone. So those are some of those little tips that a lot of people forget as speakers. Make sure you're mindful of that. And then also 2 different ways that you're paid. Even if the person doesn't give you a 1099, if you're compensated for your speaking engagement, you're still supposed to report that income. even if it was
Oh,
just $5
absolutely,
or
absolutely.
$1. So yeah, so again, just real reminders that people are supposed to, keep in track, because what ends up happening is if the IRS or your state or local government decided to audit you, they're going to ask for your bank statements. They're going to ask, for, your credit card statement and such. And most of the times people love to report all of their expenses, but they'll never report the income. But they're going to see it. They're going to see it, and then it becomes, well, where did this come from? And then you could cause yourself unnecessary trouble. Just go ahead and take care of it. You don't need the fanciest software to do it. If you're old school, you can write it all in a book. You can just have an Excel spreadsheet. QuickBooks Online is pretty user-friendly, for speakers. It's pretty easy. So, you don't have to have the most fanciest of equipment to keep track of everything, and you don't have to feel like you have to have like some outrageous accounting system to do it either. It's just common sense. If you got paid, that's your money. That's your income. If you're spending money towards it, like I said, for your travel, for your meals while you're away, for, if you're getting coaching on how to speak better, or someone is helping you boost your confidence to be able to find your message, find your why, you know how we do. We all go and look and find our why. But whatever you're doing to make yourself a better speaker and improve your speaking engagement, that could also be a part of a deduction as well. So, those are some of the things that, I basically speak about in the book, in my section of the book. But there's, like I said, there's over 30 contributors to the book as well, who all bring an incredible message, and is a part of the Black Speakers Network, and Brian Olds is the founder of it, and it is a wonderful network. If you haven't heard of it, feel free, any of the listeners, to go and check it out on Facebook. It's free to join the Black Speakers Network, and if you want to be a silver member, that is a membership fee. But shout out to Brian Olds.
All right, shout out Brian. And what's the name of the book, and where can people purchase it?
Again, it is Speak Up, and it's the ultimate guide to dominate in the speaking industry. Actually, when you can actually purchase it on my website. I'm about to actually add that to the website. I'm doing a whole rebranding. We're going to talk about that. But you can purchase it on the website at NelTaxandFinancialSolutions.com. I'll be providing personally signed copies. So it'll be there for you to purchase. All right. And I'll sign it with a special message to the person who's purchasing it. Let me know who you want the message to be made out to, and I'll go ahead and send that book your way.
Oh, I love that, and I think it's so brilliant that Brian included you in, and so tons of speakers are listening. Hey, if you're listening in and you're hanging out on Facebook and Periscope and you're a speaker, put hashtag speaker in the comment. And so I think it's brilliant that he brought you in to talk about your expenses, your revenue, all of the tax impacts specific to speaking, and definitely those of you that are authors. So shout out there. All right, and so we talked about that piece, and you're going through kind of a rebrand. So what is prompting this rebrand for you?
So the reason why I'm going through a rebrand is, when most of us start our businesses, I believe most of us start based on ourselves. We say, this is what I'm good at, or what I enjoy doing, and this is my contribution to the world, for me and the world. But just you think solo, I really do. I believe a lot of people think, single-mindedly, single-focused. But I realized that what I do, one, is something I'm very passionate about. I want to be able to bring on the team and have others, mentor others and train other employees to do what I do, and to be able to impact more people. And I also wanted to have something that encompasses all of what we can do, not just my particular specialty, but all the things that we can help, particularly new business owners and individuals, personal taxes, get right. I'm all about trying to make sure you have a firm foundation and get your foundation together, because a lot of us want to be, thousandaires, millionaires, etc. But I've also believed if you can't take care of what little you have now, how are you going to take care of when you have a whole lot? You're going to have the same money habits. You're going to have the same mindsets, and you're going to do the same squandering that you were doing when you had little. So I want to be able to help those um, basically get the right foundation, make sure they're doing the right things they need to do, and renew some mindsets around money and address money habits as well. And that includes taxes, but also just finances and strategy as well. Therefore, that's why we're adding on the financial piece. So I wanted to have it also too, where the company now it has room to grow. When it was Nell's tax help, it made it seem like you were, and it was, you were going to have access to me and only me, and and it was for taxes. But now, by having it being Nell Tax and Financial Solutions, it's basically me bringing in a team and me having other people. And, you're not going to always get me. To get me, it's going to be more of a premium now. But you will always get the best services. Always get the best services, because I'm going to expect the absolute best from the people who are representing my company and my brand and my name. But I also wanted to make sure that we are truly addressing all of our clients' financial needs as well, and not only just their taxes, because I would clean up their taxes, but it became, okay, you didn't really learn anything. We didn't address your true money habit, and we didn't really get, you weren't provided with the steps to make sure that you don't get back to this place again, or to address maybe your other spending habits in other areas of your life or business, so we can truly clean you up. Well, now we're going to do that in financial coaching. So I'm excited for this new branch of the business.
Wonderful, wonderful. And if you just tuned in, hey, you're checking out the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. We're broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, and I have Shan-Nel D. Simmons with us. And so, Shan-Nel, I literally just posted on Facebook a couple hours ago that people that you have access to now, you will not have access to later. So connect now.
I know. I think I loved it. I think I loved it. Yeah, because it will
be premium.
It will be premium. And honestly, it should be. And I'm going to tell this to your listeners. It should be that way. As your business grows, you should make it where you are truly the expert. And, people love working with me, and I have people all the time. I know I want to work with just you. I'm like, and that's great. I want to work with you as well. But do understand, working with me now is going to cost you a little bit more. And because of the simple fact that, I am, in addition to, still doing the work, I'm also now going to be managing the team and getting them together. And I'm also going to start doing more, networking, speaking engagements, and doing the things that I need to grow the business, because I have visions for this business to take it global. It's not going to just be the United States anymore. The message is going to, I'm going to put it out there. I'm trying to get into, Nigeria. I'm trying to get to Ethiopia. I'm trying to go over to England and maybe Tokyo. I'm trying to go places, and I believe it can go places. And in order to do that, I have to make myself available for those opportunities and know that the ship is still going to sail.
And the ship is still going to sail. And I first met you because you were speaking at a conference. So, that's how we were connected. So you have to really be able to have the time to do that. And also, I want to just keep reiterating that, you worked for the IRS, revenue agent in the self-employed small business division. So you know your stuff.
Absolutely. It upsets them. I'm actually I can't go into the full details of the case, but I can say, I'm dealing with them right now because I found their oops, and they're really upset that I found their oops, and that they're having to now correct it. And it's gone. It went all the way to an oversight division in Philadelphia, and now it's back to where it started. And the oversight division said, yeah, she's right. So I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So literally, my client, they try to say that my client owed thousands of dollars, where in fact he does not. And we're about to get rid of it, and I'm going to make them pay back that interest, because I'm sorry, that shouldn't have happened. That's a huge no on their end, and they're right now saying, yeah, she's right. So that's the kind of thing that I do.
People are listening saying. I know some people listen saying, wait a minute, I need to talk to her. I need a consultation. How can people right now schedule consultations?
So they can go to Nell.
Or are you taking consultations?
Well, no, I'll tell you, I'm taking a few more consultations right now because the summer's not completely booked as of yet. But you can go to neltaxandfinancialsolutions.com/contact, and on that page you can schedule what I call a let's meet initial consultation, and you can just let me know what your pains are, and then you and I can talk about what could be a possible solution, and if it's something that my firm can assist you with. And that's free.
You are able to do it. Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks again for all those that are listening live from Facebook and Twitter and Periscope. Just throw up some hearts or post in the comments, and I know you guys are loving this information. So I have a couple questions around quarterly estimated taxes. So I think that those conversations around those kind of fall through the cracks, and so talk a little bit about, and then as we were talking before we went on air, that a lot of people had, surprises in April. And so talk about quarterly estimated taxes, like what, how people should kind of get ahead and stay with those, or just your thoughts around that.
So the easiest way to think about quarterly estimated tax payments is if you owed in April or the last time you filed, you would literally send in over all 4 quarters. So don't think each quarter, but you would send in 100% of the taxes that you owed, but divide that by 4. So each quarter. So let's say at the end, let's say in April they said you owed, to make it easy, let's say that you owed $10,000, right? So
Jesus.
each quarter some people do. Hey, if you're balling, some people do.
If they had a big Q4, if they had a big Q4, and they've been paying their estimated. Okay, yes.
So let's just say for the whole year of 2018, it ended up with them owing $10,000 for the entire tax year, right? So then the first quarter of the following year. And the quarters are by calendar, unless you work on a fiscal year, which means you don't go from January to December. But for most people, you're going to be calendar year. So that would be, for the first quarter is January, February, and March. You would send in $2,500. Then for the next quarter, for April, May, or June, then you would send in another $2,500, and then third quarter $2,500, and the fourth quarter $2,500. So therefore, you sent in $10,000. You have literally met the minimum that you needed to send in to avoid the estimated tax penalty, because they will penalize you if you don't send in at least 100% of what you owed the prior year. And then you still may end up owing, because if you did better, than you did the year before, then you may actually end up you may end up owing more. So if you ever follow the estimated tax form, they'll ask you, well, how much did you make this quarter? So this goes back to good record keeping. You got to keep track of all the income that you had coming in, and then you can be able to say, okay, I made this much during the quarter, and then therefore, you times it by, your other stipulations, whether you're married, etc., what, any credits you think you're going to get, whatever the case may be, and then you send in an amount. But the easiest way to do it, and that's the reason why most people, when you go to a tax professional, it'll print out estimated tax vouchers. Like I know my system will print out estimated tax vouchers for you. It literally just takes whatever tax amount you owed after preparing that return for you and just divide it by 4. And then that way it's a no-brainer. You're at least sending in that. And then all that will happen in the next year when you file is you're going to report, I've already paid, the $10,000, and then all you would pay is the difference versus having, if there is a difference, versus paying the whole amount.
Got it. All right.
Yep.
There you go. So some of you that if you're swimming right now, this is what you're going to do. You're going to come back to this podcast and listen to that again, because she just made perfect sense. And I'm going to clarify the $10,000 when I said, woo, Jesus, to the $10,000. Not that was a lot in taxes. I'm thinking the person that's paid all year, and then they still had $10,000 more. So, again, that could be explained by a huge Q4. And the other thing,
and again,
people,
real quick, and I just want to disclaim, I'm not telling you only have to send in $10,000. The number will be different for every person depending upon whom you are and how much you owe. You have to do it, Charvette. You have to. You have to break it down for people.
Listen, this is the disclaimer. We breaking it down.
That's
so
a
don't you go away saying the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show say everybody owes $10,000 in taxes. That is not what we said. That was an example to use.
Yes, that was an example.
To make the math easy.
Yes.
To make the math easy.
Yes.
And so you want to keep your eye on that federal and your state, and then also those that are employed and they also have a business on the side. There's a little bit difference there. So, that's why you need to talk to a tax professional. They can keep you all on the up and up. And so, Shan-Nel, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, I'd love for you to share, okay, we're at this point in the year. It's not over. If things haven't been tip-top shape, it's still time to finish the year strong and have a great year. So I'd love for you to chat about that after this quick commercial break. All right, listeners,
cool.
Don't you move. We'll be right back.
It's the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Charvette will be back after this.
Join us for the 17th Annual James River Writers Conference, happening at the Greater Richmond Convention Center, Saturday, October 12th and Sunday, October 13th. With master classes starting Friday the 11th. This conference is an annual gathering in Richmond, Virginia that attracts prize-winning authors and highly regarded editors and literary agents from around the country to share their wisdom about writing and publishing. Register today at jamesriverwriters.org, and we will see you October 12th and October 13th at the Greater Richmond Convention Center. Find out more at jamesriverwriters.org.
Are you starting a new business, releasing a CD, writing a new book? Consider Mitchell Productions for your web design services. Visit www.mitchell-productions.com for portfolio samples, specials, and package prices. Remember, a website is not a luxury item. It's a necessity. Check out mitchell-productions.com or find them at facebook.com/Mitchell Productions.
She's here to motivate, excite, and influence you. She's Charvette Mitchell. It's the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show with in-depth interviews from today's leading authors, gospel artists, stars that you want to know about. And now, Charvette Mitchell.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for all those that are listening in from all across the World Wide Web and from all of our broadcast stations, from our mobile apps, maybe from an Alexa device, and from Charvette.com. We appreciate you. Hey, Facebook. Hey, Twitter. Hey, Periscope. All right, so we're jumping back into our conversation with the dynamic Shan-Nel D. Simmons. I don't know why. I just love adding the middle initial there. But we're getting your tax life and money all together. And so take it away, Shan-Nel, just talking about like how people can end the year strong.
So the biggest thing you can do as far as ending the year strong for those of you who are wage earners is if you haven't done it already, you really need to look at your withholdings and make sure that you withheld enough. I know some of you like to play that game of changing it to an exempt or maximizing the exemptions because you're trying to keep more for now. But honestly, if you know that you're kind of trying to manipulate it, you really need to put it back to what's more realistic, so that way you're not stuck in sticker shock when you could possibly end up owing next year when you file. Another thing is contribute as much as you possibly can to your 401ks and your IRAs. Those are deductible, and it's a way of investing in yourself. I always tell people that when it comes to taxes, you're either paying yourself, or you're paying them, or you're paying charity, or the money's going somewhere. This is particularly for my higher earners out there. You know how it is.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where you don't really qualify for a lot of deductions. You're passing. You are getting limited on those deduction limitations. So if anything, maximize contributions to HSA accounts, IRAs, 401ks as much as possible. Be charitable. you can always give the money to charity, and that is still deductible as well. And if you haven't filed, file, even if you can't pay, because in filing, especially if you haven't filed 2018 yet, you can prevent some penalties. It's 5% if you owe for every month that you didn't file after April. So, by October, it'll be 25%. That's the most that they can tax against, but that's 25% of the amount that you're going to owe on top of what you owe. You can prevent that now by filing. So, please file. And you can always work out payment. You can always work out payment arrangements after the fact. There's a slew of ways you can try to repay them, installment agreements and such. But get it filed and get it done, and at least that's one less thing that you have to worry about, and you minimize penalties. So,
all right. So that's the wage earners. What about small business owners?
Small business owners the same. Small business owners, this is honestly a good time, especially around this time. Unless your business is like a summertime business, like my guys out there who like do lawns and windows and such. Most people during this time of the year, they're usually a little more laid back, going on vacation. You may have a little bit more free time. This is a good time to start rallying up expenses and receipts and everything from the beginning of the year if you haven't done it already, because you're closer to it now than you will be in February, March, and April of next year. And also, too, it's probably more accessible now. Sometimes a lot of computer systems and such will update in December, and then you're panicking because you did something back in January of this year, and now you can't access that information anymore. So now's the time to try to start getting some of the stuff that you need to get together in regards to your business, or you being self-employed, or your side hustle, and start getting everything together, income as well as expenses now. So that way you at least got June forward taken care of, and then that way, at a later time, although I feel you should do it monthly, but at a later time, you can, get the rest of the year done when it's a little more convenient for you, and you're not trying to put together the full year all in one setting. So that would be my biggest advice.
And you know what? That's why I like QuickBooks, and they are not a current sponsor of the show. QuickBooks executives, come, let's have a conversation about that. But I do like QuickBooks because that does help with keeping track and being able to, upload receipts and just kind of see where your money is going. You will focus, if you focus on the money. Now, I want to acknowledge, Shan-Nel, and I know you have experience with this. This may be a tricky topic. I realize that some of you that are listening may have hesitated in even listening to this podcast. You may have said, I want to just stick my head in the sand. I don't even want to deal with this. I don't even want to think about this. So let me first acknowledge that you stayed and you are listening, so thank you, because there are a lot of money stories that people deal with. But what I have found personally is when I'm looking at the expenses and I'm looking at what's coming in regularly, like weekly, daily, like when you look at it, then you kind of check yourself. You kind of check yourself, and it even prompts you, like, hey, I'm here at this, my monthly goal is this, I'm here, let me get out and sell something else or do something else. And so I say look at the money and don't kind of stick your head in the sand. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And then another thing that a lot of businesses can do also right now is, if you in fact know that that you're going to purchase any large ticket items, the business is doing really, really good, and you've made a lot of income, now's the time to make those purchases, especially if the cost isn't going to change between now and, let's say January or February. Don't wait until I'm going to just do it at the beginning of next year. Try to start doing some of that stuff now so that way it'll offset some of that income. So, because at the end of the day, especially if you were going to make that purchase in January or February, it's really not going to, it wouldn't matter as far as financially, but for tax purposes, you've now cut down that income that you've earned for this year, so that way when you file, now you have a lesser tax liability. So,
wonderful.
Some timing and planning.
Yes, timing and planning. All right, so one more time as we wrap up, I'm telling you, our time flew by, and I am so honored to have spent this time with you. How can people purchase the book? How can they connect with you? All that good stuff.
So I am making it very simple in life. That's a part of the whole relaunch and rebranding. Everything, you can literally find it on the contact page. So you go to Nell Tax and financialsolutions.com/contact. So therefore, if you want to schedule appointments, if you want to purchase any products, it will be there for you. So that is the best way. And then you can always also follow me on Facebook. The Instagram page is now up as well as Twitter. So you can always follow me in those locations as well. And they're all underneath the business name there too.
Easy.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and it just flew by, and thanks for stopping by the virtual studio.
Not a problem. Thank you so much for having me, Charvette. You have a great day.
All right, you too. Thank you. All right, listeners, that is going to be a wrap for today. As mentioned at the beginning of the show, this show is brought to you by my Product and Course Academy, which is open for enrollment, and the first session is Monday, August 5th. Jump over to myacademy.biz/product, or if you're at charvettemitchell.com, you can get to it from there and enroll. And I show you ways to generate more revenue with your expertise through a digital format, digital ebooks, digital e-courses, audio courses, video courses, group coaching, and group consulting, because we want to help push your revenue up. And then, you know what, you won't have to worry about the tax penalty because you have the revenue to take care of it. But when you work with someone like Shan-Nel D. Simmons and the amazing folks that are at Nail Tax and Financial Solutions, they'll help you keep that tax liability down in a good place. So I'm excited for all those that are already enrolled in Product and Course Academy. I'll see you guys there. And guess what? It's a wrap. It's a wrap. We're going to check back with you guys next week for another amazing segment and awesome guest. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Catch Charvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show.